Seeker, hello and welcome. What you're about to hear is not a teaching, not a philosophy, and not a concept. It is part of a living dialogue that unfolded during my own spiritual journey. These words arose from sincere inquiry, not to accumulate knowledge, but to uncover what is beyond all knowing. They reflect my longing to go deeper into the silence spoken of by sages like Sri Ramana Maharshi and Nisargadatta Maharaj. Not their words, but the silence behind them. What is shared here comes from that inner movement, the stripping away of all labels, even the subtle ones like I am and awareness. It is a return to what is nameless and already present, before thought, before identity. I'm sharing this now in case it speaks to something true within you. If it does, don't treat it as information. Sit with it, not to understand, but to be, in the simplicity of what is. Seeker. When I am out in public, talking with friends or with family members, and I am talking with them, involved in a deep conversation, am I letting the mind put a veil over the self? In other words, since I am interacting with them, am I not recognizing the self? Master, this is a very insightful and nuanced question. Here's how Ramana Maharshi would guide your understanding of this. Engaging in conversations or interactions does not, by itself, veil the self. The self, or pure awareness, is always present, untouched, and unchanged by any activity. The sense of a veil arises only if you identify yourself fully with the mind, body, or the conversational persona, believing, I am this person who is speaking, interacting, reacting. If you remain consciously aware of your true nature, the self, pure awareness, even while interacting, recognizing internally that it is the self witnessing this interaction, then the mind does not veil the self. In other words, if you identify completely with your personality, role, and mind, then yes, this identification creates the illusion of a veil. If you remain aware inwardly that you are the self, pure witnessing consciousness during these interactions, you are recognizing the self clearly, even amidst external engagement. Maharshi often said, engage in activities, but inwardly remain untouched, always knowing I am the self. So, being in conversation itself isn't the issue. It's the inward identification that matters. Practical advice. Quietly observe yourself while interacting. Notice the awareness behind your words and thoughts. Remind yourself inwardly, even subtly, I am not the speaker nor the listener. I am the awareness behind both. By practicing this gentle inward awareness during conversations, you ensure that even when active externally, you never truly lose sight of the self. Seeker, when in a conversation, what should I be aware of, and what words or phrases shouldn't I say? Master, when in conversation, your spiritual practice is subtle and internal. Here's how to approach it, based on Ramana Maharshi's teachings. What to be aware of during conversations. 1. Remain as the silent witness. Internally remember, I am the witness of this conversation. Observe yourself speaking, listening, and reacting, without losing your center. 2. Observe your identification. Notice moments when you strongly identify with emotions, opinions, or beliefs. Observe gently, without judgment. Remind yourself inwardly, this feeling or thought arises in awareness, but I am not defined by it. 3. Feel the stillness within. Between words and thoughts, briefly reconnect with the silent presence within. Even brief moments of remembering the self enhance clarity and depth, words or phrases to avoid. While Ramana Maharshi didn't prescribe strict linguistic restrictions, your aim should be to avoid reinforcing ego, identification, duality, or separateness. Avoid overly ego-centric statements such as, I am right, reinforces separation. I can't stand reinforces attachment and aversion. They are wrong promotes dualistic conflict. Minimize rigid identification. Avoid strong I statements like I always, I never, or I have to. Reinforces strong identification with ego, self. Steer clear of judgmental or divisive language. You should. You must. This is good. That is bad. Avoid affirmations of limitation or negativity about yourself or others. I'm not good enough. I can't meditate. They are less spiritual, etc. What to say instead? Non-dual, conscious language. Choose words reflecting unity, clarity, and openness. I understand, rather than I agree, divided by disagree. That's interesting, rather than quickly judging as right or wrong. Let's explore this, rather than here's what's correct. I experience, or it appears, rather than strong, ego-driven statements. How does this resonate? Rather than imposing your viewpoint. Gentle reminder. Your true practice is internal. Even if words slip occasionally, gently remind yourself of your real nature. Conversations are opportunities to maintain awareness of the self, even amidst the movement of thoughts and words. Ultimately, it's your inward state of remembrance of the self that matters most, more than specific external words. Seeker. Alternative wording for I have pain. Master. Instead of saying, I have pain, you can use language that doesn't identify your true self with the sensation. Here are alternative phrasings, reflecting a non-dual understanding. There is a sensation of pain. Pain is arising in awareness. The body experiences discomfort. Awareness notices a feeling of pain. A painful sensation is present. These phrasings help you internally maintain the recognition that you are the witnessing presence rather than the experiencer tied directly to the pain. Seeker. Thank you for listening and for walking this path in your own way. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with anyone who may be seeking the same silence. You're also warmly invited to leave your thoughts or questions in the comments. If you would like to email, the email is learningandlivingwithramana@gmail.com. Until then, remain still, remain true, remain as truth.